channel, Bullets and Bows, Sarah, Jamie, and today we are going to talk about our turkey season, spring 2020, how it went, good, bad, ugly, successful, everything.
Very, very excited. So, start us off.
I had my first spring turkey season. I had hunted a unit in the fall and I ended up drawing the same unit for the spring. So I kind of knew a little bit of the layout that I was going to be trekking across and hunting. I went out for 7 days total, like 36-ish miles, trekked around the public land, and on the 7th day was...
The Lord said rest.
It was on 4/20, another day of rest. It was a cold spring, cold beginning of our spring here in North Dakota. There were mornings I went out, 5 o'clock in the morning, 16 degrees. It was super not enjoyable, but worth it because I learned something every day that I went, and I had a couple of close encounters. And the day that I ended up harvesting my turkey, it was like 16, 17 degrees in the morning, and then at noon when I had actually was like packing it out, it was like 60. So you never know here. But I did want to show you guys. I decided to taxidermy my own fan. So I'm gonna add, you can see the borax on it right now, my beard and the skull to make a nice mount. I also saved the feet that I'm going to be making a recipe book / iPad stand with. Stay tuned to see if that turns out or not.
I have a question. So, this was your first, like, big animal.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel? Like, what was... Take me from when you knew that you could get a shot on it to after you pulled the trigger, if you had to shoot more than once, what was happening, and then when you finally walked up on the bird.
Okay, sure. On the 7th day, we decided we were going to use a blind. So we had purchased a blind for the fall by Rhino Blinds. We set up at the edge of this meadow, and we set out 2 hen decoys, a Jake, and a Tom. And we were kind of at the bottom, yeah, of this meadow's edge, and we heard some gobbling off in the distance throughout the morning. We're like, you know, maybe we'll try to call them over. Did some box calls. Then they were quiet for a little bit, and then all of a sudden just like that thunder chicken sound that you hear just like echoed over the hill and like right down where we were at. We had a group of 2 Jakes and a Tom, and then like 5 hens, and they were all coming over the hill at the same time, just like this little parade, and it was super cool. So we tried calling them over. They, you know, kind of worked their way back and across, came down close to us, then went back up the hill, and we had to call them again. They came back around. I guess our decoys were good enough. Our decoys were by Avian, and they got really close within about 15-20 yards, and I had stuck my shotgun straight out of the blind, and I was ready to take a shot. I didn't really know if I was going to hit the Jake or the Tom, because they were kind of, when they were walking up, they were kind of vertical, so I was trying to wait until they were side by side. I didn't really care which one I got at that point because I was just so excited to see them. And then they had started to separate. They moved quickly to the left side of my blind, and then I had to pull my shotgun back, and I thought for sure they'd see the movement, but they were not paying attention to me. They were more interested in the decoys. So I had to like go to the left side of the blind and put the gun back out there, and Andy was on my left, and I actually had to shoot right over his shoulder because there was not enough space for me to shoot like around him, I guess, if that makes sense. And I don't remember pulling the trigger. It was like such an adrenaline rush. I got a good shot on the Tom, and one and done. Down he went. It was a good ethical shot. He dropped. I thought at first I didn't get him. I just saw a couple feathers fly in the air, and I tried to lift up the blind, like off of like up. Andy was trying to go out the back, and I was like, just lift it up, I have to shoot again. And I was kind of freaking out, but I had dropped him, and so I just saw feathers and not him. So it was a little bit stressful for a minute there. But yeah, ultimately I harvested my turkey. He was almost 21 pounds, 9.5 inch beard. His one spur was like 3/4 inch, and the other one was like 1 inch. So that was my turkey experience. Yay! We tried a lot of different methods. We had 4 different decoy setups throughout the 7 days, and we did a stop and call, that's what I call it. I tried like a camo net, like a tactical looking camo net. Nothing. It was a bit of a learning curve for sure, and we got pretty lucky that they were motivated and they were ready to roll. They're ready to get some hen action. I did not cry, but I just felt very accomplished and sense of pride and enjoyment, and just knowing that like I'm gonna have turkey for dinner, you know, and just like that kind of those kind of like, moments and experiences. I've pretty much fell in love with the outdoors all over again. And long story short, long story long, that's my turkey story. What about you?
All right. Well, I finally drew a North Dakota turkey tag. Finally. The unit I hunted in was about 2 hours south. It was in the Badlands. And we had hunted there before and had success, but this year it was my year. So I was lucky enough to get some permission to hunt a little bit of private land, and there were a ton of turkeys all over. They would roost like right next to the rancher's house. They would walk right through his front yard. I mean, there were tons of toms and jakes and hens and tons of deer everywhere. I hunted quite a bit down there, and the turkeys were very, very smart. So even though it was private land, the rancher would let almost anyone hunt. So these turkeys were very exposed to hunters and decoys and calls and everything. So I got into turkeys every single day. I had a lot of close calls, but I could never quite complete it. It was really interesting though too, because even when we had the decoys out, the turkeys would act like they didn't even care. Like they would walk right by them, acting like they weren't even there, or they would come down and look, and then the hen would turn around and walk away. So there was something that they didn't like or that they knew wasn't real. But probably the best day I've ever had out in the field. I hunted for the first time ever, completely by myself, completely solo. Everything was on me, not me and someone else. So that was pretty cool. And that was the closest I came to shooting a turkey. I would have had a tom down, but something that I learned is what a bubble cluck is. I had no idea that they do this. So I'm in this brush pile and I hear this weird like clucking bird noise, but almost like a water drop with it. And I'm like, that's really weird. Whatever. Not kidding you, this tom walks right in front of me, like maybe within 10 yards, 20 yards, probably 20 at the most. And by the time I was able to get my gun on him, I looked past where he was at and there was a cow. So I could not take the shot. I couldn't ethically take it, worried that I would hit this rancher's cow that I feel like it appeared out of nowhere. But it was really cool. I got to hunt in the beautiful Badlands, tons of beautiful public land all around this little area of private that I was hunting. But I felt pretty accomplished and pretty badass that I drove 2 hours away, relied completely on myself to get set up, get in the position, and I was still able to get into turkeys. So even though I didn't have an actual harvest, I do not regret one day in the field and learning that I can do it completely by myself and I don't need anyone to go with me. Plus, I bought a new decoy, a new hen decoy. So I'm very happy that I have her now.
So you did end up with a turkey this season.
I did. I did. So very happy. I can't wait to hopefully try her out again next year. And maybe this time she'll be lucky because I only hunted with her one day. So.
Was it the one day that the tom almost came in?
No.
Oh.
It was the last day because I bought her the day before the end of season because I
Oh.
thought there was something wrong with the hen decoy and the tom decoy I was using. So I bought her.
What kind of call did you use?
When I went by myself, I used a box call and I used a little bit of a mouth call. But I mainly used the box because I'm not very good at the diaphragm turkey call. I'm better at like a cow elk call on those diaphragm calls, but on the turkey call, I'm not all that great. And I barely called at all when I was by myself, partly because I'm not that good at it. and turkeys still came down. And if you've never been out in the field during spring turkey, it is so incredible. Those freaking big old birds like running around and just gobbling, and they're strutting and drumming, and they're really cool to watch.
I have some footage that we'll include.
We'll add it in.
Feel free to see that. I wonder if any of you guys had any good spring turkey season stories.
Yeah,
We'd love to hear them.
definitely.
It's always something fun is to hear other people's experiences and share our own. Obviously, that's what we do through our vlogging. I think overall, it's a cool thing to be outdoors. You know?
Definitely. Yep.
And you're on a mission, and you know,
Yeah.
are just seeing nature and immersed in it, and it's
Yeah.
really cool. We hope you all enjoyed our turkey stories, and we will see you guys in our next video.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Bye. Did it! Spring turkey, first one ever! Thunder ticking down! This is our decoy setup. This is the beautiful public land we were hunting on this morning. Out here bright and early before it was bright. There's our line.
Oh, here first. Turkey shell.
Longbeard XR 3-inch shell by Winchester. There. So thankful. Gosh, beautiful bird. Look at that. You see, beautiful fan. Oh my goodness. Let's check out the beard. And there's the beard. Wow. I'll have to measure that. It's got some nice feet on him too. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Guys, I am still shaking. I'm speechless. Can't believe it. Wow. So thankful to Fish and Game, and also to Governor Brigham for letting North Dakota residents still have their spring turkey season, because it's all about wildlife management. And now I'll have meat for the table for my family, and I'm just so blessed and thankful, and yeah, it's just something I just cannot believe that just happened. So talk to you guys later. Bye. Before I got my harvest, spoiler alert. 1, 2, 3.
Sierra, let me see you. 1, 2 step.